All right, well, welcome everyone. It is so nice to see everybody on this chilly April night, but it is wonderful to have you here for our Thursday night travel talk. And tonight we're going to be featuring two of our preferred tour operators, Globus and Cosmos. For those of you who have not been on a Zoom call before, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty well nobody because I think that's part of our life now. You are all muted. You do have the ability to have your camera on and off. There is also a chat feature. So if you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat feature and then we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So my name is Lisa Anthlick. I'm one of the consultants at Expedia Cruises. Tonight's talk and all our Thursday talks are hosted by our 6 Edmonton and vicinity stores. And we started these travel talks quite a few months ago to inspire you, to educate you, and to let you know what's happening in the travel industry and help you plan for future vacations. We have passed 1 year that travel has shut down. And if you are on this call, you're probably loving travel and missing it. Travel fulfills us. That's why we do it. And I know that we are all waiting to the time that we can travel safely again. I am optimistic that travel will begin. We're focusing really on 2022 and 2023, and I think that's the time that Canadians will be able to travel again. Please remember there is a difference between dreaming and planning travel and booking travel. Due to the restrictions, we are not recommending that you travel now, but we are suggesting that you start thinking about where you want to go because we've missed 2 years of travel vacations, and I know we all need them. So our offices, all 6 offices are open right now because of restrictions. We're asking if you call or email, you can set up an appointment by phone, you can set up an appointment by Zoom with your consultant, and we are here to help you navigate travel because it will be different as we get back into it due to COVID restrictions and health and safety concerns. So our travel consultants are here to help you plan. And now I would like to turn it over and introduce our special guest, Leslie Schaap from Globus and Cosmos, who's going to give us a little bit of information on tours that we can take for the next couple of years. Welcome, Leslie.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Lisa, can you give me a thumbs up? My screen's good? Is it good? All right, thank you. So thanks so much for spending your Thursday night with myself and Expedia Cruises. I'm pretty excited to co-host this event, and I love the topics that were chosen tonight. If you have any questions, I don't know if Lisa mentioned this, I can't remember, I do so many Zooms like you guys do. Feel free to type them in the chat box, of course, if I will try and answer any questions. If I can't answer during this presentation, they'll reach out to me and I will answer the questions after the presentation. So if you're not familiar with Globus and Cosmos, we are part of the Globus family of brands. And it's not just Globus and Cosmos, there's 2 other brands called Monograms and Avalon, which I'm not speaking about tonight. Monograms is our independent city packages that we offer worldwide, and Avalon is our river cruising and small ship cruising worldwide. But tonight I'm going to focus on Globus and Cosmos, and these are the 2 brands, actually the Globus family of brands, that travel to 6 continents of the world. They are escorted touring, and I'll talk about the components of what's included in a tour and highlight some of the fantastic religious tours that we have, as well as undiscovered, those off the beaten path tours that we offer. We are based out of Lugano, Switzerland, and we're not a new company by any means. We've actually been around since 1928, and it's actually the founding brand is Globus. And Globus offers first-class tours, offers choice touring, which you have a lot of choice of excursions in that segment. And we also offer private touring. And Cosmos is more of our budget-friendly touring, and it offers also private touring. And we offer the private touring for both Globus and Cosmos in Europe, which will also include our religious travel and undiscovered vacations in Europe as well. So the big question right now is that taking a tour, we are in a pandemic right now, but we're on the other side of it. We know that, we see the light at the end of this tunnel. And I want you to make sure you can trust in touring. And touring with Globus and Cosmos is very, very similar. One is that you can be traveling in your own little bubble. It's nice about traveling with a group is that you have your own bubble of people that you're with the entire time. So we know everyone has done the same. We know everyone has has the same. They had the vaccine. They had a negative COVID test before they traveled. We know all of that. And it's nice that you're traveling with bubble with another group of people and similar minded as well. We do all the heavy lifting. It's about taking a tour with Globus and Cosmos that we have planned everything. We have the hotels chosen. We have the times booked to be at the sites. We have the transportation. We have meals. We have done all that heavy lifting and planned everything. And you don't have much heavy lifting to do outside of that. And it's nice with escorted touring is that you're truly taken care of. The booking flexibility. So I'll talk about peace of mind tonight because I know a lot of you might be thinking about, I'm really interested in booking maybe something for 2022, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to put that deposit down. So I'm going to talk about the ease of booking flexibility and our peace of mind travel plan that we offer. You can get a great deal. I think touring is very valuable. And this is where your Expedia Cruises consultant does now and really show you the value of taking the tour. With everything that's included, as well as you look at that cost per day. And when you look at that cost per day with the value of a tour is that you'll see that you honestly, especially with Globus, hotel nights would cost the same as that cost per day, knowing that you have inside visits, meals, you're guided in your transportation. So it's a great value and touring is a great deal when you are traveling. And I'll talk about the health and safety measures tonight, and maybe they'll take me right to my next slide is what to expect. So what to expect when traveling with us. And there's a lot of questions about this. And we have a lot of details about this on our globusjourneys.ca website or contact your Expedia Cruises consultant. And we'll have we have videos and PDFs all about our health and safety protocols. But you know that all fellow travelers have been screened. So we require our travelers to be fully vaccinated within 14 days of their tour, or to have a negative COVID test 72 hours prior to their first service with Globus Family Brand. So let's say you're flying out of Edmonton, you have the air booked with the Globus family. That would be your first service. It would be that air. Now, if you don't have the air booked with us, your first service is when you arrive to the hotel for your tour. The touch points. So you don't think about touch points when you're thinking about traveling. Your luggage, for example, you're checking into the hotel. So I'm giving over your credit card to somebody else, standing into line at something. We take away all those touch points on touring, so you don't have to worry about all that. We handle your luggage. We have pre-booked everything. You're not giving your credit card and standing in line, right? We've taken all those touch points away from you. The minimizing the contact, and as well as we are the experts when it comes to spacing and the masks. And I know I get questions a lot about this, and we still really are unsure what touring really will look like. I took a tour of the Rockies in October, and we did have to wear masks in Banff, but outside of that, we didn't have to wear a mask. So rules and regulations change all the time. So our tour directors are going to take care of you on your tour. So they are we say the bee's knees. They know everything going on in the destination. You're not going to be calling your Expedia Cruises consultant when you're in, let's say, London or you're in Rome saying, I don't know what to do here. Should I wear a mask? Should I not? I don't know about this physical distancing in this country. Not to worry, you're going to be traveling with a tour director that knows everything about where you're traveling, and they're going to give you all those guidelines when you're traveling. So you're truly taken care of on the tour. Now, when I talk about the tours tonight, your hotels are included. So in the Globus and Cosmos use different style hotels, and I'll explain that when I'm talking. But your hotel is your home away from home. So we have fantastic hotel partners that work within all of our guidelines of health and safety protocols. And again, if you want any information on all this, feel free to reach out to your consultant. So getting around safe and sound, touring is the luxury of traveling by motor coach. And these are the nicest way, I think, to travel if you don't have to worry about driving and directions. People could easily space out on these motor coaches. We're going to have our small group discoveries, which I'll highlight tonight especially for religious travel. But getting safe and sound around is important. And we have the sanitizers on the coach, which is important to everybody. You can sanitize your hands when you embark the coach and when you disembark the coach. And the coaches are sanitized every time our guests are off the coach. The driver is sanitizing the coaches as well. So touching hearts, not hands. I just talked about sanitizer and how important it is, and we're going to have an ample amount available on tour with us, as well as I talked about the touch points already. So again, thinking about, you don't have to worry about those touch points when you're traveling. And I think a lot of us don't think of that until we actually are in that situation, where you can't tap your credit card, you have to hand your credit card over. You're like, oh, someone just touched my credit card, right? You know, now I got to put this back in my wallet. You know, things like that we never thought of before, now we are thinking about. So just remember, all those touch points are taken care of with the Globus family of brands and with Globus and Cosmos. So on trip assurance is that we want to make sure that you have a healthy and happy experience with us. And we have gone through all of our health and safety protocols and guidelines. I can spend an hour just talking on those tonight. And if you feel comfortable, ask your Expedia Cruises consultant, or just to go on our website. They can send you all the links to show you everything that we've done to keep your health and safety. That's the number one priority. And I am getting questions a lot, like, Leslie, I may be looking at doing this Undiscovered tour, and it's not just in Italy. Maybe I go to Montenegro, or I'm going to Croatia within that tour. What happens with all the different country regulations? So we will work with, when you're on the destination with us, and you need to, if you're fully vaccinated and they're still asking for negative COVID tests, which we think that might happen with some countries, is that we will provide those COVID tests in the destination. You don't have to worry about any of that. Anything that's needed on the tour with us, we will provide that service for you as well as when you're coming home to Canada. So we all know Canada requires a negative COVID-19 test, even if you've been vaccinated, right? So we will provide those testings before you come home to Canada as well. We'll take care of all of that for you. And I mentioned this peace of mind. So when I'm talking about the tours tonight and highlighting these fantastic tours that we have to offer, there's a lot of, when it comes to the peace of mind. So you might be really interested in booking one today, tomorrow, next week, next month, but you're just unsure what's happening in 2022 or 2023. Not to worry. Once you put a deposit down with the Globus family of brands, with Globus and Cosmos, you can change your mind up to final payment date. So final payment date right now for touring is 60 days prior. And you can change your mind and say, you know what, I don't really feel comfortable going to Britain. I feel more comfortable staying home in Canada. You can change your mind and change that Britain tour to a Newfoundland Labrador tour. Just make sure you advise your Expedia Cruises consultant before your final payment. Now you can change the year of travel too. So let's say you booked in 2022, now you're thinking you might want to go in 2023. You can change the year of the travel, you can change the brand, you can do anything up to that final payment date with our Peace of Mind travel plan. It is complimentary, you don't have to pay extra for this. This automatically comes with your booking. So what's included, and I'm going to highlight a lot tonight that's included in Globus and Cosmos Tour, but I've talked about the hotels are included, the transportation is included, our tour directors are included, we have breakfast included daily, we have some lunches included and some dinners included. You're going to have a lot of VIP sightseeing included. With Globus, you're going to have our local favorites included. So there's a lot, we've pretty much given you a travel gift all in one, right? All of this inclusion. But we know freedom is really important, you know, when you travel, and we get the question a lot is, this looks really scheduled, this itinerary, when is my free time? So because we have all of this VIP entrances included, we have created free time for you. Like for example, in Rome, is most of the time it's a morning to about mid-afternoon tour, and then you're free until maybe the evening with this included dinner. So you're going to think of all those things you're going to see in Rome are all included, and you've seen Rome in less than a day with us, and you have all those inside visits included with us. So just to note that we do create free time within all of these inclusions that I'll be talking about tonight. So I'll highlight local favorites. I try my best to highlight these. These are some of my favorites of traveling. But there's local favorites included in all Globus tours. So you're going to see that little LF icon when you're reading the itinerary. And it could be like a whiskey tasting in Ireland, and I'll talk about that tonight. It can be something that you truly didn't book the tour to do, like maybe you were booking the tour to go to Dublin and you didn't think about the whiskey tasting, but you come home and you tell your friends all about it. So we got these neat local favorites included in the tours that are not, again, they're not the must-see site. There's something a little unique. They have a local flair. A lot of you are about supporting local. We're about supporting local too on touring. We hire local guides. We work the locals with our local favorites, and we hire local coaches, right? So we're all about supporting local with our travel as well. And we have our local favorites, which are really, really neat. And that VIP access, I think this is about the 5th time I've said this word VIP access. I think when you're looking at taking a tour, you know, touring sometimes doesn't sound so luxurious as taking a river cruise or an ocean cruise, right? But, you know, touring with all this VIP access that's included, you truly treat it like a VIP. You show up to the Vatican, you have a time booked at the Sistine Chapel, and we walk through that entrance at the back door and no waiting in line, like I mentioned. You get to go in and you really don't feel how busy it could get until maybe the end of the tour. And you're like, oh, what are all these people standing in line for? You just bypassed all of those people. I say that VIP access on touring with Globus and Cosmos are those happy lines. You're so happy you booked a tour because you see all those people waiting maybe an hour or two. And I know there's reservations, but I got to tell you, I have made a reservation somewhere and still waited an hour, right? So when it comes to touring, there is no waiting. So now there's questions, and I'm going to highlight this right off the bat about group numbers, because this is a group. You saw the coach, you know, we fit 44 people comfortably on those motor coaches. They're 3-axle if you want to get into the detail. But we know that a lot of you might want to travel with smaller groups. You might not want to travel with 44 people, and we have a solution to that. So all of our Globus and Cosmos tours worldwide have select dates that are called small group discoveries that have only 24 people maximum on those select dates. So again, if that's really important for you to travel with less people, maybe look at one of those small group discovery dates and work with your Expedia consultant about that. But the good news about religious travel, and this is my first topic, is that all of the departures are small group discoveries. So if you're looking at any of our religious tours, and I'm going to highlight a few tonight, I don't have time to highlight them all, but all of the departures are small group discoveries. So there's no more than 24 people on any of our religious tours with Globus and Cosmos. So with our touring, I like to tell you with religious, you can do it in 2 ways. You can go with your church and do more of a pilgrimage and more of a group travel. Or you can do an individual trip with yourself and maybe your husband and a wife, or a mother and daughter, or maybe, you know, 2 couples, you're really good friends from church, you want to just go on this tour together. And it's really having fun with faith. So we have different faiths and different, for different tours in different areas of the world, but it's really having fun with faith. Now, again, if you want to go more of a pilgrimage, that's more traveling with your church, with your priest or your pastor escorting you, and then we're arranging services in the destination. So again, you can arrange that, and I'm sure Expedia Cruise Consulting can help arrange a group with your church if you're interested, or you individually just want to go and have fun with your faith, you can do that as well. So that's the 2 options you would have with us. When you're looking at any of our tours and any of the dates that you see online, or that your consultant emailed you some choices, those would be individuals booking on a tour, for example. If you want to travel with a group, that could be something separate. Okay, so just to note that as well, because a lot of times when you think of religious travel, some of us think of it's more of a pilgrimage. And by any means, if you're traveling on these individual departures that I'm going to talk about tonight, it's really having fun with your faith, which is really, really important. So with Globus, like I mentioned, we have lots of choices with Globus. We have their Footsteps of Apostle Paul tour. Is 10 days. It's focusing in Greece and Turkey. And it's a nice tour that starts and ends in Athens. And you visit the Holy Monastery in Varlam, and the Holy Monastery in St. Stephen on this tour. We have our Journey Through the Holy Land, which I'll talk about in a moment. And we have a Journey Through the Holy Land with Jordan. So just to know that we do have the Jordan extensions, and we do have a Catholic tour of the Holy Land. So if you just want to go to the Holy Land and learn more about the history, make sure you just book one on the regular tours, because we do have one that's focusing on the Catholic religion as well. So just to note that, again, we give those choices, and it's really clear when you're reading the itinerary which is which. So we can go to the Sea of Galilee and and see that ancient fishing boat on this tour. We have our Grand Catholic Italy, and this is actually our most popular tour outside of Israel. It's a nice tour, Rome to Padua, as you can see here. And with Rome, most of our tours actually have you can be the attendants of the Pope. You can see the Pope be there for a mass with the Pope. So we usually have that audience on most of our tours, and we've arranged our tours with the dates of our tours, so you do get that audience with the Pope, which a lot of times is really, really important when you're traveling to Italy for your faith. And shrines of Portugal, Spain, and France. And I'm going to talk about that one, highlight that one tonight as well. A lot of shrines on that tour with Fatima and Lourdes, and it's a lot of people want to follow those paths and visit those shrines. So this is one of a popular tour for both Globus and Cosmos has a similar tour. And again, 12 days focusing on Portugal, Spain, and France, Lisbon to Barcelona. So I mentioned the Holy Land tour. So this is Journey Through the Holy Land. And again, we do offer the Jordan extension. It's nice about Israel. We talk about destinations opening up. We had a fantastic conversation before the presentation started about areas of the world that have opened up and said we're welcoming travelers again. And Israel is one of the first ones that actually went ahead and did that. And they're ahead of the game when it comes to vaccines in any other country, I think, in the world, right? They know what they're doing. So this Journey to the Holy Land tour, again, you can do more of a pilgrimage if you want to travel with your church. You can do Fun with Faith, or you can do more of a Catholic focused tour. But you can see as you can see on my screen here, it says, see the stories of the scripture come to life as you walk in the footsteps of Jesus in the faith-based journey, which includes some of Christianity's most important sites. You can see the tour on the map. The map you can see on the screen there. This tour starts in Tel Aviv and it ends in Jerusalem. So at Nazareth, we have the Church of the Annunciation and St. Joseph's Church included visit here. Sea of Galilee, like I mentioned about seeing the fisherman's boat, as well as we do have a cruise included at the Sea of Galilee. Mount Beatitudes, we visit the site where Jesus delivered his sermon. And Jordan River, we visit the baptismal site. So a lot of great inclusions on this tour. I mentioned breakfast is included daily when you're traveling with Globus. We do have some dinners included, and there is, I believe, a lunch included on this tour as well. On the bottom of the screen, when you are reading some of this tour, for example, you'll see that's where you're overnighting. It is a 9-day tour. And again, you can definitely add some time on pre or post. And again, the post, most people add on the Jordan extension if you're interested in adding something on post. Now, we also have our Shrines of Portugal and France. Like I mentioned, this is one of my favorite tours. I'm very fascinated with Fatima. As a young girl going to Catholic school growing up, I watched the video reels of the movie about Fatima every year. So, but this tour starts in Lisbon, as you can see on the map, and ends in Barcelona. Highlights on this tour, of course, is Fatima and Lourdes. But we also go to Montserrat, as you can see there. See the Black Madonna is really important. You know, in most tours that go to Barcelona, they don't include Montserrat unless you do an optional excursion. So this actually tour includes going to Montserrat. When again, mentioning the highlights of this one for most people is Fatima, where in 1917, the Virgin Mary appeared to 3 shepherd children, right? And the tree roots and the tree hump is still there. That where she supposedly, the Virgin Mary, appeared to the children. But unfortunately, the tree itself, travelers were taking leaves and the branches off, so they had to keep it in a safe place now, but you can still see it. It's when I was there a few years ago, my tour guide pointed it out right away and said, this is where she appeared to the 3 shepherd children. And this is where you have a chance, if you want to attend Mass at the Basilica, you can here, and you also have an opportunity to join the Rosary candlelight procession in the evening as well. And then Lourdes, of course, is another highlight. Here's the grotto shrine picture here. And if you're not familiar with it, in 1858, Lords rose to the prominence in France, where Marian apparitions, and is where Saint Bernadette supposedly saw her, and that's where she became a saint because of this, and really brought travelers and pilgrimages to the area. And to this day, this is one of the most popular areas for pilgrimages to come to is Lourdes. Because of the special, especially with the history of Saint Bernadette as well. So I mentioned Cosmos also has faith-based tours. We have lots to choose from, similar to Globus. We have the Shrines of Alpine Europe, which I'm going to highlight in a moment here. We have Shrines of Northern Italy and Rome. We have spiritual highlights of Italy. We have Shrines of Italy. We have Fatima, Lourdes, and Shrines of Spain. So you're going to see a lot of similar itineraries maybe just mentioned with Globus, but now we have them more for our budget conscious guests. So if you're traveling on more of a budget, Cosmos is a great brand for you. We have a pilgrimage just to Lourdes. We have the Camino walking journey for the soul. We have the Holy Land, of course, and we have the Biblical Israel as well, more of a Protestant tour in the Holy Land. So I thought I'd highlight, this is a neat tour, and it's a new tour for Cosmos. The Shrines of Alpine Europe, and this is a 7-day journey, Zurich to Vienna. And you have Mass at the Abbey of Einsiedeln, I hope I pronounced that right, on a stop away to St. James. And this tour is really, the faith-based vacation provides an opportunity to discover the Alpine pilgrimage, which a lot of people don't think about when it comes to the Alpine pilgrimage in Switzerland, Germany, and Austria. And besides the pilgrimage, it's really the fantastic scenery that you're going to see on this tour. Another highlight I wanted to talk about is that in the past, I got a lot of questions about, do you have Machagori? So we do have a new tour with Cosmos that has the destination. It's with spiritual highlights of Italy with Machagori. If you're not familiar with this, it is a Serb pilgrimage. And what I was going to say here, it's a memorable spiritual experience visiting the town where the Virgin appeared to some visionaries to send a message of peace. And I believe the Pope just blessed Machagori now as a pilgrimage site. I know it's been a bit controversial over the years, but believe that it's just in the last, I want to say the last 2 or 3 years, the Pope has given his blessing as it is a pilgrimage site. So we do have this. Again, this tour starts in Rome and ends in Split and Dubrovnik in Croatia, as you can see on the map there. Another for religious travel or just for vacation is to maybe want to visit Oberammergau, the Passion Play. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I've been to the town of Oberammergau in Germany, but I have not been to the Passion Play. The Passion Play is only every 10 years. It was supposed to be in 2020, and because of the pandemic, they did cancel it, and they have rescheduled it for 2022. So all the people that, this sells out. Like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to see the Passion Play. It does sell out, and so most people that were booked in 2020 have rebooked for 2022, but there is still some space left for 2022. So I'll highlight some of the tours I know that we still have space on. The Passion Play is presented by all of the members of the community of Oberammergau. And to be in the Passion Play, you actually have to be, most people have to be born in Oberammergau or live their majority of their life. It's an honor to be part of the Passion Play here. I know in Alberta, we have something similar in Drumheller that is every summer. Maybe some of you on this call have been to the Drumheller Passion Play. I've been to the theater myself, but haven't been to the Passion Play. But it's something that's important for a lot of people to go to at least once in their lifetime. So the Passion Play itself is May until October. So again, it's a long play. If you're not familiar with this, there's 2 parts to the Passion Play. And they actually changed it for, I believe in 2010, they changed the timing. So now part 1 is of the Passion Play is from 2:30 to 5 p.m. Then there's a dinner break. And then it's, again, part 2 starts at 8 p.m. and goes to 10:30 p.m. And then they changed some of the off-season time. For example, part 1 starts at 1:30 and ends at 4. And then part 2 starts at 7 and ends at 9:30. And that's your August through October departures. But what's neat about us and Oberammergau is that no matter if you choose a Globus or a Cosmos tour, or even we have Avalon River Cruising that includes Oberammergau, our hotel is right in the town of Oberammergau. So our guests actually it's about a 12-minute walk from the theater to the hotel. Our guests can go back to the hotel and relax in the intermission time, which is really, really nice. And it's really, I think, really important. Me being in Oberammergau, I was able to walk around and see how close the proximity everything is. So I can't imagine staying somewhere outside of the town and not being able to go back for the afternoon to rest. So we have a lot to choose from. Globus has 12 itineraries, Cosmos has 1, and I mentioned Avalon Waterways has 2 itineraries as well. I did just mention the hotel. Hotel Bold is what we use in Oberammergau. Here's an image of it. It's a family-run property. Like I mentioned it already, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I've mentioned, but we have the choices, the 15 tours across 3 different products to choose from. We have 90 years plus experience from going to Oberammergau since the 50s. We've stayed at the Hotel Bold here, and actually I got to stay at Hotel Bold back in 2007, and they actually renovated it. They were in middle renovations for the 2010 Oberammergau Passion Play year. It's I lied to you. It's an 8-minute walk. Sorry about that. I said 12, 8, maybe 12 my pace. 8-minute walk to the theater, and we actually have a rep at the hotel that's based at the hotel during the whole season. So there we have not only your tour director that would be with you, we also have a local rep at the hotel as well. And our seating, so as you see at the very bottom, there's seating category 1. So our Globus guests, I don't think I have, I do have a highlighter. I'll use a laser pointer here. Our Globus guests sit in this area right here. So if you can see the highlighter, this is where all of our Globus and Cosmos Avalon guests sit with the tickets that we have for Passion Play. So we're right up front, right in the heart. I would say you compare it to a rock concert, you're in the first 10 rows, right? So that's Oberammergau, and some of the tours I thought I'd highlight this evening is that the Imperial Splendors is a popular tour. This tour starts and ends in Munich. You can see going to Munich, to Prague, to Bratislava, to Budapest, to Vienna. You have a little Danube cruise, a little cookie and cake, a day on the Danube cruise there. 1 night in Salzburg, 2 nights in Oberammergau, and then 1 night in Munich. So you're actually a 13-day tour. You're going across 5 countries. Prague and Budapest are definitely a highlight on this. The Danube cruise, I mentioned, you get a little cake and cookie on the cruise there, which is fun. And you get 2 nights in the town of Oberammergau on this tour, very special. Most tours actually only have 1 night if you're staying in the actual town, and we include 2 nights on this tour. Another popular tour, and this is just focusing in Germany, as you can see here. If you want just to focus in Germany, we have the German highlights. And this is a 13-day tour. Going to Neuschwanstein. If you're not familiar with the area in Bavaria, Neuschwanstein is very close to the town of Oberammergau. Like when I stayed at Oberammergau, our excursion was going to Neuschwanstein. It was very, very close. We have our 2 nights in Oberammergau on this tour, and I mentioned highlights is Neuschwanstein, but you get to go to Berlin. You take that high-speed German train to Berlin, have 2 nights in Berlin, which is definitely a highlight. And I think a lot of us, when we go to Germany, we just stay in one area of Germany, and we haven't really been outside past Frankfurt. Most people you've been Frankfurt South. So to go to Cologne, to Berlin, to Dresden on this tour is really, really special and different. And these tours are regular Globus tours I'm highlighting with Oberammergau added to them. We do have some religious tours as well with Oberammergau. I mentioned I just have quick one slide on Avalon here. This is the Avalon Waterways itinerary that is, I think, a nice little itinerary. It's 1 night in Munich, 2 nights in Oberammergau, and 1 night in Innsbruck. So it's a neat little river cruise itinerary with some land with the Oberammergau Passion Play included. We also have the Danube, if you're interested in the Danube, but that one has less limited space left with our tickets for the Passion Play on the Danube. The Romantic Rhine itinerary has a little more tickets available. So this evening's presentation had 2 topics, highlights, and I talked a lot about the first one. So I'll kind of highlight the Undiscovered series as well. And this is more traveling off the beaten path. You can see the image behind me. I'm on cobblestone streets in Britain here, and kind of going off that beaten path. And I think that's really important, thinking post-pandemic travel. A lot of people are going to go to areas that are a little more undiscovered. They want to stay away from crowds. And I think the undiscovered might be the right solution for you. And we've actually had this program for a few years now. And we started off with tours in Italy, kind of off that beaten path. And we do have for 2022, I'm going to take the highlighter off here. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. There you go. So for 2022, we do have, we have 4 Globus tours focusing off the beaten path in Italy, and we have 4 Cosmos tours. Now this is, the areas can be going to Southern Italy, Sicily, the Cinque Terre. We have this gourmet Tuscany tour, which I'll highlight in a moment, but there, again, a lot of these places on the maps that you're going to see, and I'll show you one tour here, is that you might have not have heard of a lot of these places. And it's nice about going to these undiscovered places is that you would have probably not go to these places on your own. Or if you've been to Italy in the past, you've probably been to Rome, Florence, and Venice. And you've really, and most people, our first time trip to Italy, your second time trip to Italy, really stay in those areas of Rome, Florence, and Venice. But a lot of people, again, you want to get off the beaten path. You've seen these beautiful pictures, and you want to go here. So, like the picture of Alberto Bello, I always get that. I have to like look at that when I'm reading it. That's that picture on the top right-hand corner. So this is a nice tour. It starts 2 nights in Naples. Goes to a place called Bari. I don't know if any of you have heard the Bari on this presentation tonight. I'd never heard of Bari till I actually went to Bari, to be honest. I did a similar tour with Cosmos of this area. We have 2 nights in Lecce included. You know, we have the 2 nights in Castellana Grotte. We have, and the 2 nights ending in Sorrento, and of course having our farewell dinner, having the limoncello and picking lemons from the lemon tree if it's in season. A really fun local experience that we have in Sorrento. But again, you're looking at those, this is a 9-night tour, you're looking at all those overnights, you're like, I've never heard of half of these places. That's the glory of the undiscovered touring. You're not going to go to these areas on your own. You'd rather go on a tour and go travel with a local. And our locals for the Southern Italy tours, our tour directors are all mostly from the Sorrento area, and they talk about everything about the Southern Italy. They're very, 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 very passionate. This is one of my favorite tours the Globus family brands has in the portfolio. This is a neat tour. It's called Gourmet Tuscany. And you can see this tour on the Undiscovered is really staying at a place called Monte Cantonini, and it's actually 7 nights in one location. And then you're touring from here. We include a local butcher shop tour. We include going out to a family winery and having lunch and wine tasting. We include a market tour where you purchase all the ingredients as something that you're going to make that evening for dinner. We have some really neat inclusions in this tour. And I think the luxury of this tour is that you're not hopping around from city to city. You're staying in one central location, and you're not going far distances for those day excursions. And if you're a foodie or a wine type of person, you might love this tour. And it is a traveler's favorite, this Gourmet Tuscany. Now here I am off the beaten path here on my cobblestones, streets less traveled. And we do have some tours in Britain that are kind of off that beaten path. You know, a lot of you, if you've been to Britain in the past, have been to London and Edinburgh and Glasgow. So we have tours that get you outside of those big metropolitan cities. We have 4 Globus tours in the Undiscovered program for Britain, and we have 1 Cosmos tour for 2022. This is my favorite Globus tour for the Undiscovered. It's the Scottish Highland Fling, as you can see here. This tour is 100% Scotland. You know, a lot of people, when you're looking at tours, a lot of tour companies do this. You start in London and then you go over to Scotland and then you come back to London, right? This is all Scotland. You know, Ross-shire, we have Globus local favorite guided tour of that whiskey distillery. You know, that local favorite picture I showed you earlier in the presentation? This is where you're going to have that malt or 2 tasting at the distillery. We visit a fishing port in Ullapool, and yet we actually have a local lunch included to have fresh fish and chips here. And the Glenfinnan, this is the iconic picture here in the presentation. Glenfinnan, get that picture of the train going by, just like you see in the Harry Potter movies, right? The Jacobite steam train. So, and then again in Edinburgh, we do have the military tattoo on select dates for traveling in August 4th to the 25th. We would include the military tattoo as well. So another tour for Britain, this is again staying in Scotland, is the Cosmos Tour that we have off the beaten path. The Scottish Outland Adventure. Now, we used to call it the Outlander Adventure, and we got a little bit in trouble with that. You know, it's a lot of people are going to Scotland now because they've read the book series Outlander or watched the series. Right now, you want to go to Scotland and see Inverness and all the areas that they did all the filming. And actually, Diana Gabaldon is a godmother of Avalon, so we have a great relationship with the author of Outlander. So Stirling, we see the volcanic the volcanic formation, Stirling Castle, that served both as a palace and a fortress for centuries on this tour. Strathpepper, which a lot of you are looking on this map saying, well, I've never even heard of Strathpepper. What is this place? It's a Highland spa town. So it's a nice spa place. If you like to go to a spa, remains popular a home base for exploring coasts from Northern Highlands. Loch Ness, you know, maybe might not see Nessie on our tour. I hope you do see Nessie on our tour, but you learn about the stories behind Loch Ness. And of course, Isle of the Skye is included on this tour as well. So really neat short little tours you can see, but you get a lot of Scotland in the tour. Of course, we'll talk about the highlights of where they filmed Outlander. I know it's really important sometimes when we travel as pop culture nowadays. And then Undiscovered Mediterranean. So these are tours that we have in Spain, Slovenia, Greece, Croatia, France, and more. Again, off that beaten path, you know, beyond the Mediterranean's azure waters lie tiny whitewashed villages nestled against sandy shores, marble-clad fortresses, and winding chains of turquoise waterfalls, places loved by locals. And a lot of our tour stops are local favorites. Like the locals love to go there, and travelers don't really know about these places. And nice about traveling with us is that you have that local tour director that know all the ins and outs of these little local charms that we visit. So we have 2 Globus tours in 2022 and 4 Cosmos tours in the Undiscovered Mediterranean. The Croatian is one of our more popular Globus tours. Croatia has become a very, very popular destination for Canadian travelers. You can see this is a beautiful 11-night itinerary, you know, overnights in Zagreb, Zadar, Split, Dubrovnik. We have all the must-see sites. We visit the national parks, see the waterfalls, do a little bit of hiking in the national park if you're interested. Pop culture, as you know, the Game of Thrones. A lot of people want to go to this area to see where they filmed Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones fans want to see that old town of Dubrovnik, you know, so all of these highlights are on the Croatian tour. And again, this is a popular tour. So if you're really interested in Croatia, I do suggest to book early for Croatia. The popular Cosmos tour is the Mediterranean flavors. Now, this is a really unique tour. If you see the map, I know it's really small on the right-hand corner, but you can see this tour starts in Madrid and ends in Rome. And if you see how the tour kind of is laid out, it's more of a coastal tour, you know, going to Valencia, Barcelona, Marseille, your French Riviera, you can see there, up into the Cinque Terre, the Venice area, and then down to Rome. So really neat tour. It's a 2-week tour, and a lot of Canadians, we usually travel for 11 to 14 days when we are traveling overseas. So this might fit perfectly into your vacation planning. But this tour does have like the robusticities, the sweet seaside hamlets, rich resorts and heavenly history. And again, it's got all those big metropolitan cities that you're expecting to see in the Mediterranean, like, you know, Madrid, Barcelona, Rome. But then you got some charms as well in the itinerary, which I think is really, really neat. And when you're reading our I was gonna say brochure, but when you're reading our itinerary, that when you see that word area, is that because Cosmos, I mentioned in the introduction, this is a budget-friendly tour. With budget-friendly touring, For example, we can't be right on the island in Venice. We're on the mainland, but we do include a trip into Venice with the water taxi, which I think is really, really fun. I did that on a Cosmos tour many years ago. So just to note that, when you see the area, when we were describing where we're staying, is that we're not right in that heart. We're just outside and more of a suburb area. But most of the, you can see on this tour, we're right in the heart, as you can see. Last but not least, North America. So we newly introduced Undiscovered North American Tours. I thought I'd highlight tonight 2 of our Canadian tours. One is Quebec in Depth, the Gaspé Peninsula. It's an 11-day tour. If you look at the map here, and it talks about some of the inclusions on this itinerary, is that this tour does start in Montreal, in Montreal, but you can see the red dot means Montreal is just the hub for the flight home. So your farewell dinner is actually in Quebec City. You see you have the 3 nights in Quebec City. You really get up into the peninsula area, of course, seeing Percé Rock, of course, going to a strawberry farm and having liquor tasting at a strawberry farm, whale watching included. A lot of these unique in like these areas that we're staying, you've never heard of. We go to Estevan Lodge, like mentioned here, the taste of the gardens on the slide, having lunch at Estevan Lodge. And Estevan Lodge itself in the gardens has 140 edible plants and they're picked daily. And so having that is like a farm to table style lunch that you would have at Estevan Lodge. I mentioned the whale watching and of course the fromagerie, the tasting and tour. And I mentioned there's a strawberry farm and liquor tasting. There's really neat inclusions on this tour. And again, starting in Montreal when we have the inside visit of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Montreal, and then staying in Quebec City and learning the history of Quebec City as well. And then our Cosmos tour I wanted to highlight is not all of Canada, it's Alaska and Yukon. So a lot of Albertans have been asking about the Yukon and how they really want to go to the Yukon. It's on their bucket list. Maybe you've been to Yellowknife and Northwest Territories, but you haven't been to the Yukon yet. So this is a tour that would get you to the Yukon, but you have a bit of Alaska as well. The tour does start in Anchorage, as you can see here. We have Denali National Park included. You do the train, Fairbanks, you can see here, Dawson City in the Yukon, Whitehorse in the Yukon. So it's a great tour if you want to touch a little bit on the Yukon and going to Alaska all in one trip. We do have promotions in the marketplace on right now. When you are ready to put that deposit down, it is a $250 per person deposit. It is non-refundable for both Globus and Cosmos. And I mentioned your final payment date is not until 60 days prior. So Globus right now has 5% off to select Europe, North America and South America tours. And if you book a deposit by, I believe by April the 26th, the 5% is on. And then for 2022, we have our 10% offer on right now. And then if you're interested in 2023, and I know that's a big question. I know Lisa mentioned in the beginning in the introduction about 2023. We are taking pre-registration right now for 2023 because we're really close to doing a early launch for 2023 as well. So for your time tonight, I have a show offer for you. It's exclusive with Expedia Cruises partners from the Edmonton area. They will be given a promo code at the end of this presentation. So if you are interested in booking, and this is only for new bookings for 2021 and beyond, you get an extra up to $200 off per couple, so $100 off per person on select Globus and Cosmos tours. So again, any questions on this promotion, feel free to reach out to your consultant and they will have the promo code to add it, because I mentioned is exclusive to the Expedia Cruises in the Edmonton area. So I know I talked a lot and I truly appreciate your time and listening to me tonight. I truly hope all is well. And I know I'm eager to travel again. And I'm sure all of you, because you took the time tonight, you are also eager to travel again in the near future. So best of luck, I should say, for your adventures. And I hope that you choose Globus or Cosmos as one of your travel adventures.
Thank you so much, Leslie. From local to domestic to international, you've given us a great idea of what's available. And I think most of us on the call tonight are saying, I really miss travel. So I thank you very much for giving us that opportunity to see. So, you know, as we mentioned earlier, travel is currently paused, but it doesn't stop you from being able to plan for a future trip. And I love what you talked about is the flexibility, because I think we're all concerned and none of us really know what's going to happen, and none of us really know when everything is going to open up, and being able to have that deposit and move it to a different date, a different year, even a different product, I think is absolutely fabulous. So I don't think you can get any more risk-free in terms of making your plans. So just we'll wait a minute or two. If anybody does have any questions, please type them into the chat box. So Leslie, where's the first place you're going to go when travel opens up?
We want to go to Croatia, is what somebody we've been talking about, or Peru.
Okay. Yeah.
So I let my other half pick because he doesn't work in travel. So I let him cross everything off the bucket list. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I think for all of us, our lists are becoming longer and longer. And what I want to remind everybody, there's so much pleasure that comes from traveling, but there's also a lot of pleasure from planning a trip. So if we can't do the latter, let's do the former. Again, as travel is paused, we can start thinking about what we want to do. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your past travels with us. We look forward to any of your future travels. We look forward to you calling us if you're interested in any of the tours that Leslie talked about, or any of the other Globus family of brands, and being able to have that wonderful dollars off promotion. If you have any questions, please reach out to your travel consultant. Remember to watch us on Facebook. Check out our YouTube channel as well, where this presentation and all the other ones that we have will be recorded. I hope to see you next week. Mark your calendars for Thursday, April 29th. We'll be focusing Silver Seas, Antarctica, and the Galapagos. So looking forward to having you join everyone, and have a wonderful evening.